Davids, Namami Davids, Namami Davids, Namanda, 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 Namanda. Please join me in chanting Nishishin Nai, followed by the reading of the three treasures. Then we'll chant Sambutsuge. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we're able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amidavs, Namo Amidavs, Namo Amidavs, Namanda, 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 Namanda. Sambutsuge. The Gatha Sambutsuge comes from the larger sutra of immeasurable life. It is the praises voiced by Bodhisattva Dharmakara to the Buddha Lokeshvara Raja. In these praises, Dharmakara expresses their own desire to attain Buddhahood and their heartfelt determination to accomplish this goal for the sake of saving all sentient beings. 쇼쇼 이토가곡 계라그 암론 고분신요 제가 신쇼혼간노히 리기쇼쇼요 그지보세솜 지혜무게 조료시솜 지가신교 계료쇼신시 쇼그도 그추 가교 쇼진 닌주후계 Namo Amitabha, Namandab, 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 Namandab. Good morning, everyone. I would like to start the next portion of our service, which will be my Dharma message. Let me just share my screen with you. There we go. I made us pretty slides today. So today, I'd like to talk a little bit Ohigan, which is our fall autumnal equinox service. This is a special time of year where we remember our ancestors and express our gratitude for their guidance, along with contemplating our own path to the Pure Land. O, as part of Ohigan, is a Japanese honorific title. And Higan literally means other shore. So the historical and religious significance of this service during this beautiful time of the year is to reflect on our own pursuit of awakening via the contributions of our ancestors, our Sangha, and the aspirations that we carry in our own hearts for ourselves and the ones we love. On this slide I'm sharing, you'll see an image of a painting of Higan Hana, literally meaning Higan flower. It's often called the red spider lily in English. In Japan, these flowers have come into full bloom at this time of year. And many people in Japan and around the world offer Higan Hana at the graves of their ancestors to honor them during the fall equinox. In a sense, this is a way of celebrating their birth in the Pure Land or the other shore and holding them in our memories as we follow them on that path towards the other shore beyond this life. Please join me in Gasho as I share the words of Pure Land Master Shandao. Sentient beings long seeking in birth and death, and for innumerable kalpas lost in transmigration, being bound in delusion by our own karma, have no means of gaining emancipation for ourselves. Reverently embracing Shakyamuni's teaching and Buddha's exaltations to advance westward and obeying Amita's call to us with Buddha's compassionate heart, the traveler accepts and accords with the mind of the two honored ones, never giving a thought to the two rivers of water and fire, and taking the call of the honored ones to heart at every moment. We entrust ourselves to the path of the power of the vow. After our death, we attain birth in that land and meet the Buddha. How boundless is our joy. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namo Amida. This passage is the conclusion of a parable by Venerable Shandao. For my Dharma message today, I'd simply like to share Venerable Shandao's parable on the two rivers and the white path as it relates to this very special service and the opening Gosandai, which we just read together. The parable goes like this. Imagine, if you will, that there is a traveler journeying an immeasurable distance towards the west over many continents. Along the way, suddenly, they come upon two rivers in a single channel, one made of fire extending southward, and the other of water extending north. These rivers are only about 100 meters wide and extend beyond the horizon to the north and to the south. Dividing the fire and water is a single white path, only 4 or 5 inches wide. This path goes from the eastern bank to the western bank and is very narrow and will take time and care to traverse. Billows of water surge over the path and flames sweep up and scorch it. Water and fire thus assault the path endlessly. The traveler, having already journeyed deep into the wilderness, is far from any town or village. However, not far behind, packs of wild beasts and bandits hunt the traveler. Fearing for their life, the traveler runs toward the west and comes upon the river of fire and water. The traveler ponders to himself, this river goes on forever. The only way to safety is the narrow and terrifying white path. Although the river isn't very wide, how can I cross it? I know I won't survive the day. If I turn back, the bandits and wild beasts will get closer and I can't face them. If I flee north or south, I will certainly meet the same fate. However, if I try to cross the rivers, I know I'll fall into the blazing fire or tempestuous waters. The traveler is overcome with despair and begins to lose hope when suddenly they hear an encouraging voice from someone on the eastern bank near them. The voice says, "Dear traveler, please find courage and follow the path forward. I promise that you can make it, but if you stay here, you will certainly die." Just then, the traveler hears someone from the western bank on the other side of the river call, "Traveler, focus your attention. With the mind that is single and right-mindedness, come at once. I will protect you. Don't be afraid of falling into the rivers." Upon hearing the two supportive voices calling to them, the traveler believes and trusts in the words that they have heard, and single-mindedly approaches the path without any doubt or uncertainty. After taking just a few steps onto the white path, the bandits call out to them on the eastern shore, "Oi, traveler, come back. You can't make it across the two rivers. You're going to die. You'll fall in the water and drown, or burn to death in the fire. Come back. None of us are going to hurt you here." Though the traveler hears the voices of the bandits, they ignore them and continue forward, thinking only of the path, advancing directly forward with a mind that is single, and then they reach the western side. When the traveler is there, they are free forever from their afflictions, and upon arriving to the other shore, they meet a good friend and are filled with joy. Shandao then explains after this story that we are the traveler in this story. And the eastern shore, which is frightening because of its wilderness and the danger of wild beasts and bandits, is the Saha world in which we're living. Our world is referred to as a burning house, a temporary residence of danger and discomfort in the Lotus Sutra. And Shandao borrows this imagery too to describe the situation of our unenlightened lives in this world on the eastern shore. He says that the bandits and the wild beasts are ego-centered desires for constancy, for material wealth, and the other myriad attachments that cause us to live out of balance with the reality of things. They also represent those who would draw us away from our spiritual path toward awakening, people who might ridicule us for following the Buddha way, or those who distort the Buddha Dharma. We are cautioned to turn away from such things that will tie us to this world of delusion. The river of water is our greed and selfish desires, and the river of fire is our harmful anger and hatred. These parts of our lives constantly assail us on the path, and they have no end. But the white path is the mind that aspires for liberation, for birth in the Pure Land. Shandao points out that while the rivers are turbulent and vast, the path is very small and difficult to navigate. Things to keep in mind as we live our lives. The voice on the eastern shore is that of Shakyamuni Buddha. Though this Buddha has long ago since entered into nirvana, they speak to us through the teachings, encouraging us to pursue enlightenment. The voice on the western shore, the other shore, is that of Amida Buddha, telling us that they will protect us if only we summon up the courage to follow the path to that western shore of the Pure Land. Once there, we will be united with Buddha and all of our loved ones who have walked the path before us. The most important part of this story for my talk today is that other shore, Ohigan. Once we reach the other shore, we become one with Buddha and all those who have walked the path before us, thereby becoming that calling voice to others to follow this path toward awakening and birth in the Western Pure Land. I'd like to conclude my Dharma message with that conclusion of Venerable Shandao's explication of the parable of the two rivers and the white path. Please join me once again in Gassho. Sentient beings long sinking in birth and death, and for innumerable kalpas lost in transmigration, being bound in delusion by their own karma, have no means of gaining emancipation for ourselves. Reverently embracing Shakyamuni's teachings and Buddha's exhortations to advance westward, and obeying Amida's call to us with Buddha's compassionate heart, the traveler accepts and accords with the minds of the two honored ones, never giving a thought to their two rivers of water and fire, taking the call of the honored ones to heart at every moment, We entrust ourselves to the path of the power of the vow. After our death, we attain birth in that land and meet the Buddha. How boundless is our joy. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Okay, with that, I'd like to conclude our service for the day. I know it was a little short. I had a very busy week, but I'm so glad to see you all today. I'm going to end our recording just so that we can have some time to chat.